Hello, I'm Ben. Welcome to the channel. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the biggest challenges that today's workforce will face. And I'm doing that thinking more along the lines of entry-level folks. Okay, so I've hired thousands of people in my career. I've fired probably thousands at this point, promoted the same, and had the opportunity to open new businesses, open new locations, expand existing businesses locations. And let me tell you, the challenges that we had back in the 90s and the 80s are the exact same as of today. So if you were to go into Google or to Bing or whatever and add and type in biggest challenges for today's workforce, this is what you'd see. The top 5 things that post up are divergence in wages, and it says since the pandemic, there's been a downward pressure on wages globally, compounding the previous misalignment of wage productivity and growth. Well, that's nonsense. Being in the business world and hiring people, wages are now better than they ever were prior to the pandemic, most of which per hour, $3 to $10 more per hour. So divergence in wages is not a challenge. The next is unequal access to flexibility. Some workers have better access to flexible work arrangements than others. It's very simple. If you did not get education of some sort for specific training around programs that would allow you to have a job where you can be flexible, then you're going to have to bite the bullet and take a 9 to 5 or a 10 to 2. You're going to have to take a 40-hour, 45-hour work week job just because you didn't get the education or the training that did not allow you the freedom to do something else, okay? So let's say this. The more specialized you are, the better training you have, the more freedom you're going to have in being able to do the job the way you want to see fit, okay? Everybody can't work from home. Now, there are tons of jobs where you can work from home, but just remember, those benefits are going to be extremely limited. The pay is going to be limited to the point that you're not going to get overtime. It may not be a local presence where you're not as known where you're at. So I'm not saying those are bad. There's no such thing as a bad job. A job should pay you a fair wage to do a body of work that makes the world better in some shape or form, that serves the purpose, a service that a person needs, or provides a product or something that someone needs. That's what your job is, right? And the job should be that you're paid fairly for the time and effort that you put in. So that unequal access to flexibility is nonsense. If you want flexibility in your work situation, then work on your education, work on your training. You don't have to have a college degree to make great money. You can be a welder. And in a welder, your truck can be your office, and you can drive to different sites and do those things, but you have to be trained as a qualified welder to work safely and provide a good quality of work to your customers so you can give them a good price and they can pay you something that is a reasonable price to be expected. So don't listen to that unequal access to flexibility. Number 3, it says the decline in mental well-being. It says the mental health challenges are affecting employee productivity. Let me tell you this. Mental well-being and the noise that people have in their heads is majorly based on stuff like social media and phones. Okay? Everybody before you, every generation before you had to go to work. They had to work jobs. I've dug septic tanks. I've worked on the back of a trash truck. I've cleaned houses. I've cleaned boarding rooms. I've been security. I've been a bodyguard. I've been shot at. I've been, you name it. I've done that as jobs for work to get paid. So here's the point. Your mental well-being, that comes down to your individualism and your soul. Know who you are, be grateful in it, and make yourself better. Read books, get mentors, watch videos such as these to get better. You're responsible for your mental well-being, not your job. Okay? Your job is not your family. Your job is not your friends. You're responsible for your mental well-being. You need to focus on doing things in life that are going to make you less fragile. I'm not saying don't have feelings, don't care. I'm saying be less fragile. Read Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. Learn in there how to keep those feelings inside to make yourself better and to grow from it. Either those weaknesses, you can plant them and they can become a seed, or they can become all you are. You choose. Mental well-being is no worse today than it has been. People feel much more lonely, though, because they think 3,000 friends over a phone is better than 3 friends locally. Find a set of friends, 4 to 5 locally, that think like you, that are going to bring you up, that should be aspirational people that are looking to achieve some things, and be a friend with them. If you do that personally and real, you will get better. You will get to a better place, okay? Number 4 on this list, it says slow progress in diversity, equity, and inclusion. Organizations are still lagging promoting diversity and inclusion. Number 4 is nonsense. Number 4 is nonsense. It's absolute absurdity that that's a thing, that anything, that doesn't challenge the workforce in any way, shape, or form. Here's the point I want to make. No one should be telling anyone to hire anyone. You want to work for a good company. A good company hires the best person that they can for the role. Period. A good company doesn't care anything about what you look like, what you think, what you believe, who you sleep with, who you worship. A good company doesn't think about any of that stuff. Okay? So companies that are putting that in their hiring process, they're causing a problem for themselves. You as a worker, as an employee that's got one strong soul, you're going to get out there and you're going to give a benefit to a good quality product and you're going to do it in a safe manner. For some employer, you find the right employer that's not focused on this nonsense. If you find an employer that's not focused on this nonsense, you'll find an employer that is hiring the right person, period. Period. If you hire the right person, period, the business is stronger, you do it in a better way, and there's more profit for everyone. It creates an environment where you're going to have tenure, you're going to have people stay because you're successful being your true individual self. That's the point. This diversity inclusion nonsense, that's not doing anything but putting stuff on paper. Okay, number 5 is learning new skills. Workers need to adapt to changing job requirements. I agree with that one. So they got 1 out of 5 right. You do need to be adaptable. Technology is increasing every day. I used to run plants for a certain company. When I started, the process was very manual. When I left that company, a decade later, we had gone through 3 different levels and series of automation. The automation replaced a lot of jobs, but the jobs that were created that needed to support and sustain the automation paid more money. So the point is, the evolution of business is going to generate more jobs, even though it takes some away. So you have to be adaptable. You have to get mentors. You have to get education that brings you up to a level so you can actually do better in the working environment. So I'll tell you this too. As a member of the workforce, you are competing with every other human in the world now. America's not what it used to be. It used to be where if you lived in an area, you'd work in an area, you'd stay in that job and in that area your entire life. That's not the case, okay? I live 1,500 miles away from where I grew up, okay? A lot of people live that far or further than where they grew up. So understand that being a member of the workforce, you're going to have to compete with everybody else in the workforce, which means what you bring to the table is extremely important. So write this down, okay? Your attitude matters. You need to have a positive attitude. I'm not saying walk around like a smiling idiot all the time. I'm saying you need to have a positive attitude. Understand that challenges are going to arise every day. And understand that's just life. Okay? It's not about fairness. That's just life. So you have the attitude that says, you know what, yesterday was a tough day, but we got through it. We're going to get through this one too. Let's take it one step at a time. If you put that out there when you're working, and that's what working with you is like, people are going to love having you around because you're going to be a problem solver, okay? So number 1 is a proper attitude. Number 2 is proper respect for yourself and others. Proper respect for yourself and others. Get bigger than your opinion. Get bigger than your feelings. And what I mean by that is people are going to offend you and hurt your feelings at times. Keep that to yourself. Don't allow yourself to be abused. But respect others, and you respect yourself by respecting others. Didn't mean to hit the camera there. You respect yourself by respecting others because you know what you believe in. You know what you want and who you are. That's got nothing to do with where you're at work. Leave that stuff at home. When you clock in, you are your professional version, which means you're respectful to yourself and others. You respect for yourself in a way that you put yourself out there in a very professional situation. Like this ensemble I'm wearing here. I've got a tie and a jacket and all that. I'm putting myself out there. My beard looks good. You know, I'm not wearing any facial piercings. I don't have a tattoo on my forehead. Guys, I have ink. Put your ink in places that is not in everyone's face. Respect yourself. Give yourself the opportunity to earn a living that's commensurate with your abilities and what you feel is important. So respect yourself and respect others. What I mean by that is, excuse me, it's nobody else's opinion to make you feel good about yourself, and there's no one else's requirements to understand and agree with how you see the world or anything else. It's nobody's business. And that brings me to number 3. No one cares. Okay? That's one of the most stoic things I can tell you. No one cares. When you were sick the last time, who took care of you? When you had no money, who paid your bills? When you were alone at night, feeling very small because you had a really bad day, who lifted you out of it? My point to this, you have relationships for a time. Everything on this earth is temporary. Everything. So what your responsibility is to yourself is to build you the best options you can. And what I mean by that is own your home. Buy a place that's yours. Okay? Have a place where you can fight the world from. Have a place that's yours. Doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be fancy, just has to be yours. Okay? No one cares. And what I mean by that is, yes, people love you and they do care, etc., etc., etc. But no one cares about every feeling you feel. No one cares about every emotion you have. If you have a job, you took it, you made an agreement. You said, I will come do this job for the pay, this pay that you're going to pay me. If that's truly how you feel and you made that agreement, respect yourself, respect your employer, and do that. No one cares about how you're feeling or those type things. You have to manage that. The fact that people don't think that, or the fact that people think that everyone has to listen to, feel for, and care about their emotions, it's not a recent situation, but the focus on that is a recent phenomenon. Okay? You don't need that nonsense. You're responsible for you, so be responsible for you. Make the best relationships you can. Get right with God. I would say that in all the years of experience that I have, right, it's 35 plus of hiring and running teams at this point. The people that had faith, they had trust in God or something bigger than themselves, they always did better than the ones that didn't. They always last. They have endurance that supersedes folks that don't, because they're not just relying on their own selves and their own wisdom. Okay? So do those things that'll make you more competitive in the workforce. Don't listen to what people are telling you because it's nonsense. At the end of the day, look for things for what they are. Be the best that you can be because you have one life. There's no practice run. I'm Ben. Hope you like, subscribe, be good.